It is 7 days until we head to Queensland, guys. The old car looks a bit different. The canopy was not waterproof. It was a bit rough riding. And we've got a fridge and all sorts of things to fit out for the trip. So, what we're doing is making some shelves and stuff. So what we're doing is making some shelves and a sliding fridge drawer and a little bit of storage, etc. for the trip to QLD, so that the rig is ready to go. We're going to put some photos up and show you a few things along the way and show you how we fit it out. And then we'll be on the way and we'll see you on the road. There'll be a solid top on this bit. The battery sits here, which we've just moved for the moment. I've cut this hole through the tub here, but obviously remember that'll be covered so that we can earth onto there. The positive cable is actually going to run down along the inside here and then behind the liner and then out, and then it runs through here right down around to the battery at the front. So that'll be the electrical setup. Look at that! So battery box is in. We've got it firmly secured. A couple of brackets here. We've got the King's dual battery kit controller here, and wires there cut through the tub here for the earth for both the battery and the controller, and then the cable to the main battery so that this gets charged from the alternator, runs back all the way through under oil, everything back to the bonnet. So we're getting there, ready to cover this up and then start working on the drawer setup and everything over there. The inside runner, and then we've got a bit of angle 3mm gal. We're going to chock that up with a bit of 12mm ply and then seat the top on, so that whole top bit will slide as a drawer instead of a drawer inside a lid. That makes sense. So the whole fridge will slide out about 1 metre. So there's one side done, we'll do the other side.
I was wondering if there was going to be one that does that.
It's close, but it's not close enough. That would have been cool.
People like all those cats on Australia, like, it makes a difference, they're native to Australia.
Not easy, but maybe I'll pull it out. And then the levers should be.
Yeah. Disappointing.
You're in it now. Vehicle again today, getting it sorted. I've got my apprentice, Lexi. Hey Lexi, come here. Yeah? This is Lexi, the Murray Crabb dog. She's helping me out. Aren't you? You're a good puppy. Yeah, you're a good puppy. Alright, so we've got this all wired back to the car. I think I mentioned that the other day. I've screwed this one down so it's solid. That's where the wires run. No one can lift that or get into there, which means these won't get disturbed. It's just an Adventure King's dual battery setup controller to have the alternator hooked up to the second battery here after the start battery is charged. So that's all wired in. And this one, we've cut this notch out for the bracket and to sort of suit here. It's not 100%, but I mean, can't get much better than that, I guess. We've got this gap here. That's there on purpose because this is the slider for the fridge. The top of this actually slides. instead of underneath like a normal drawer. I think I mentioned that, but that's why I've left a fair gap here, so I don't want this tied up against that. So we've put that there. I'm going to screw that, pilot that and screw that one down, and that means that all the wires then are in this sealed area, putting things in and out of the ute, because this is going to be storage here, and I'm going to put a divider, have a storage there. So putting things in and out under there, that's fine, but no one's going to be able to lift this and upset the wiring for the dual battery. So that runs down through there, in behind the plastic, and then all the way through the car to the battery. So we've got this side sitting in, cut around the wheel, cutting around here. So that, they said they're just sitting there for now. I think I might hinge them underneath so they hinge up and out with like cupboard hinges or something at some point. So now I've just got to cut the front one. But I think for this trip, they're just going to sit in there. So storage underneath, and then we've essentially got this extra storage on top, just going to help us store things in. Some tools and recovery equipment in this back area, which isn't as easily accessible, but if we need the stuff, it's in there. And obviously the fridge will sit on that, and there'll be some tools and fishing gear under that slider. And the beauty of that is, if you can't reach it from here, you can slide the fridge out and you can reach it in from the top at the back. So that's good. We're going to have our control for the solar and USB and charging sort of station here, which will charge the battery of solar when we're stationary. When we're out fishing, have the solar set up so it's charging, charges from the car during the day, and at night we can unplug the fridge from here and plug it into the generator and run off the Jenny. So we've got plenty of power, easily accessible, so I can just have GoPro stuff locked in the back here charging, and it should be pretty handy. So we'll cut that one and we'll keep going. Given the roof rack a bit of a raise, because when the kayaks are upside down and arched like that on it, they tap on the roof. So I've got some 30mm steel. What I'm going to do is give this a clean up. I'm going to weld that spacer in there. Should talk to you. We're going to clean this up, weld this spacer in there, and then re-drill the holes and remount it so it's 30mm higher. A little bit of rust on the roof rack, so I'm going to give it a real good clean up, and I'm going to paint it. Cut the end off the rails that run across the top, so that when the roof rack's on here or the cage is on here, we can put the rod holder underneath when it's on top of the car instead of on top and taking up room. That's up to being wire brushed and painted. This has been wire brushed. Tronky's just putting this plate on down this side. This is the side the awning goes on, and the awnings always leave a bit of a gap between your car. So what we're going to do is have this plate here so that when the weather comes in from that angle, there's no weather getting through under the awning. So it's just for a bit of extra security. That's been wire brushed, and you can see the spaces have been welded underneath there. They've been strip welded in spots, and then Sikaflex put along between the existing and the new stuff, because it was a bit overkill welding all the way down the side. So what we've done is put Sikaflex down the gap just so no moisture gets in and rusts it. It's got about 6 welds down each side, about so long, so that's plenty of weld, as well as it actually bolts through the spacer, so it's bolted together anyway. So we're going to bolt that on, paint that and paint this, and then put it on and bolt it all together. So that's about the next step. I know. Don't be get my feet underneath. My hands underneath.
I gotta do what mean?
No, I think it's pulled my side. Let's just shut this in there. these?
Yep.
Yeah, that looks better. Tight my side, yeah, no, that's right. Tight over here. So we'll have to. Obviously, we've put the canopy on. We've had the squashable foamy stuff here with some Sikaflex. It's squashed down tight. Not the neatest finish, we're in a bit of a hurry, but anyway. Bit of silicone around the window frame because you reckon it was leaking around this frame here. So just siliconed the frame. The window itself, the seal seam are right on. Big gap though there was in here. And Tronky's gone along here just in case there's any water pushing up. I got a bit of Sikaflex on there. Like I said, I'm not too stressed about that. It's not going to wash off, it's Sikaflex, so it's there forever now. So no stress. I would rather it be waterproof than look pretty. So you can see where there's been water, and on the inside you can see where it's been leaking from here, not from the window seal but from underneath. So it's been running around here and then dripping inside. We'll put some Sikaflex under here when we put the feet for the roof rack back on, and we think it'll be waterproof now. So we think. Anyway, hopefully that's all good, and we'll be wiring up the lights in here next after we have lunch. Well, we are ready to just wait for things to dry and to pack, so we're about done. You can see we've got the light strips around here. I'll put a photo up of what that looks like at night running off the battery. That's siliconed in place. I know it's a little bit messy, but who cares, it's functional. So the tape will come off once that's dry, but it's not 100% there yet. We've got the fridge in. She's cooling the freezer first. So the freezer's down to -7 now, -8. Going down, it'll cool the right box, which is a freezer, and then it'll cool the left box, which is a fridge. So it's drawing quite a bit of power at the moment because it's cooling down. We've got all of the lids in. Now under the lids is going to be general tools and things that we're not going to use very often. A bit of recovery gear, spanners, puncher kit, compressor, just the things that if we get stuck in the bush and we need tools, they'll be under this lid, that lid, and the lid around the corner. Under here, under the slider, which is storage, quite a bit of storage. Under there is going to be all the cooking gear and stuff. Probably in this one here there'll be a little bit of fishing gear. Now the fridge slides all the way out on that, all the way out to here. So the fridge comes, let's pull it out. So we've got the wires set up right. So fridge comes all the way out to almost out the back. This is the small side, so it's about so big. And it'll still plenty of room to open with that up. The freezer side will actually open all the way over, so we can pull it out, access the stuff. It's not too bad a height, especially for me. If you're a bit shorter, this might be a bit tall. I've fitted this off here so that it doesn't pull tight and pull out, but it minimizes the amount of slack line so nothing gets caught. Now there's the battery. I think we've been over this bit already, but we've installed this here, and this is a solar control or charge center, and it's wired into the battery, into the solar panel, and into the lights. So that's actually the switch for the lights. Push that, the lights come on. Push that, the lights come off. So they're wired straight into this battery. This battery, as we've gone over, is wired into a dual controller, so it charges while we're traveling off the alternator. It's down to 12 volts at the moment, but let's show what it's showing. But that's because this is drawing a crap load of voltage. And you can see this little matte picture, that main solar panel is charging. So we got the solar panel on at the moment. It's a fold out panel just sitting up there, and I've thrown it in and I've plugged it in. Out there you can see wires go out the roof there to an Anderson plug here. So we unplug the Anderson plug, pack the mat up, and we get to camp if we want that power. Throw the mat on the roof, plug the Anderson plug in. That's all sealed, pretty messily, but it's all sealed with Sikaflex there. and we've neatened all the wires up in here. 2 red wires came out here, ran up here, looped around to the brake light here. There was a big loop of wire that always hung down here and got hooked. I've shortened that up. I've put that into this cable tidy stuff, and in there also I've run the wire to the lights, so that all runs together, comes around here. So brake light is, so it comes on here, the brake light goes into there as well. There you got the brake light and the feed to the LEDs, and then around here you've got the brake light, the feed to the LEDs, and the feed from the solar panel when that's plugged in. All runs down. Your brake light then diverts off and goes to where it goes. We didn't do that obviously, but I just tidied that up there. Our wires run down here, so we've sort of neatened that up a bit, in behind, and then all through the control box, and then these wires neat and tidy again along under that screwed bit to the front. So that is practically the setup. Battery, controller, solar panel when we want, so when we're stopped, when we're driving, this will run off here and that'll be charged off the alternator, so it's going to last for ages. When we're stopped and it doesn't look like this, the solar panel's not doing a whole lot today because it's a bit overcast, but when it's sunny, the solar panel will be pumping into there, which will be running that and charging that. When this gets down to temperature and it's only holding temp, it won't be drawing anywhere near the voltage that it's drawing at the moment. So lid and lid, like I said, there'll be tools stored underneath. All the rest of this storage will be for our camping gear. The roof rack has been raised 40 mil, and we've given it a spray with black paint. It's not the neatest, but anyway. So that allowed us then to take my rod holder off the top and put it underneath. So we've gained that space on top there. So we've got the rod holder in this gap now, which is really handy. It's pretty stable in there, it's really stable in there, and I reckon it actually looks a bit better. With the roof rack higher, the kayak shouldn't tap on the roof, and it's a lot stronger now too. Instead of just having this little bit of flat, it's now got the RHS underneath it, so that's heaps stronger. This is the gal we added along here, and I've actually sealed the gal between itself and the roof rack and the awning, so that's fully sealed, which means when the awning comes out now, instead of the awning having stopping here and then there's this gap straight to the weather, we've actually got the shelter out this far, so the weather, even if it's coming on a bit of an angle like that, it's going to be coming in and hitting the roof here and not blowing straight through to where we're camping. So that's a batwing awning, comes right around and then folds back around to the back there, so beside this car here and behind the car there is all under cover. So the awning's on there, and we've run that gal all the way to the front of the roof rack, rod rack across the top there, and the solar panel's sitting up there, but the kayaks will be on top, swag's on top. I think we're pretty much all set then. We've got these paddles which break in half, so we don't have to have the full length paddles across in here, so they'll fit in well. So literally guys, it's time to pack. Just let the silicone do its curing. It's not curing because it's a bit cold and damp, so we'll let the silicone cure. We'll pack the car, and on Saturday we'll be on the road, so it's going to be cutting it fine. Guys, it's going to be a great trip. We're going to try and bring you a lot of footage, a few different fish species. Guys, if you do like the stuff, please consider helping us out by subscribing and jump on over to our Patreon. The link is below and at the end of the video, and helping us out that way. You can donate as little as a couple of dollars a month, and it really does help cover the costs of fuel and travel and all the filming gear that you've got to have, which is quite substantial to make good quality content, and the time and effort that goes into the videos too, guys. So also we do have a hoodie order open at the moment, hoodie and t-shirt, and we got new fishing shirts coming, so if you want to get a bit of merch, that'd be awesome as well. Thank you very much for watching, hope you enjoyed, and guys, we will catch you on the road to Queensland.